Hello and welcome to Space Renew, the channel where we explore the latest and greatest in space news and technology. In today's video, we're going to talk about NASA's Artemis program, the ambitious plan to return humans to the moon by 2025 and prepare for missions to Mars. But before we get into that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of our future videos. And if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Now, let's get started. What is Artemis? Artemis is named after the Greek goddess of the moon and the twin sister of Apollo, who was the namesake of the first human lunar landing program in the 1960 and 1970. Artemis aims to build on the legacy of Apollo and achieve new milestones in lunar exploration. But what exactly are these milestones, and why are they important? Well, Artemis has three main objectives: to land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon, making history and inspiring a new generation of explorers; to establish a sustainable and international presence on the moon, using innovative technologies and partnerships with commercial and global partners; to use the moon as a proving ground for testing systems and technologies that will enable human missions to Mars and beyond. These objectives are not only scientific, but also strategic, economic, and inspirational. They will advance our understanding of the moon, its origin, evolution, and resources. They will foster international cooperation and collaboration, space exploration. They will stimulate economic growth and development by creating new markets and industries related to lunar exploration. And they will inspire future generations of explorers, scientists, engineers, and leaders by showcasing human ingenuity and courage in overcoming challenges and pursuing new frontiers. Sounds amazing, right? But how will NASA accomplish these objectives? Let's find out. How will Artemis work? Artemis will use a combination of new and existing elements to achieve its objectives. These include the Orion spacecraft, which will carry astronauts from Earth to lunar orbit and back. Orion is designed to support long-duration missions in deep space and can accommodate up to 4 crew members. The Space Launch System, SLS, rocket, which will launch Orion and other payloads into orbit. SLS is the most powerful rocket ever built by NASA and can deliver more than 27 metric tons of cargo to the moon in a single flight. The Exploration Ground Systems, EGS, which will provide launch support, ground operations, and recovery services for Orion and SLS. EGS is based at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, where all Artemis missions will launch from. The Gateway, which is a lunar outpost that will orbit the moon and serve as a staging point for surface missions. The Gateway will host scientific experiments, communication systems, and habitation modules for astronauts. It will also enable access to different parts of the moon, including its polar regions where water ice may exist. The Human Landing System, HLS, which is a new spacecraft that will transport astronauts from the Gateway to the lunar surface and back. NASA has selected 3 companies, SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Dynetics, to develop competing proposals for HLS under a public-private partnership model. The Artemis Base Camp, which is a concept for a long-term settlement on the lunar South Pole. The base camp will consist of habitats, rovers, power systems, communication systems, and other infrastructure that will support scientific research and exploration activities. The base camp will also serve as a testbed for technologies that will be needed for Mars missions. These elements are not just hardware, but also software that will work together to create a seamless experience for the astronauts and the mission control team. For example, NASA is developing an advanced navigation system called XNav that will use signals from existing satellites around the moon to provide accurate positioning information for Orion, Gateway, and HLS. This system will enable precise landing maneuvers and avoid hazards on the lunar surface. But what will these elements look like in action? Let's take a look at some of the upcoming Artemis missions. What are the Artemis missions? The Artemis program consists of several missions that will gradually increase in complexity and scope. Here are some of the highlights. Artemis 1. This was an uncrewed test flight of Orion and SLS that was launched on November 16, 2022 at 1:47 a.m. EST. It sent Orion on a 4 to 6 week journey around the Moon and back to Earth. It demonstrated Orion's performance, life support systems, and communication capabilities. Artemis 2. This is the first crewed mission of Orion and SLS that will launch in 2024. It will send 4 astronauts on a 10-day mission around the Moon. It will test Orion's crew systems, environmental control systems, and emergency procedures. Artemis 3. This is the mission that will land the first woman and the first person of color on the Moon. The launch date of Artemis 3 is currently scheduled for no earlier than December 2025. It will send 2 astronauts on board HLS from Gateway to the lunar South Pole for about a week. It will mark the first human landing on the Moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. Artemis 4. As of March 8, 2023, the launch date of Artemis 4 is scheduled for no earlier than September 2028. It will send 4 astronauts on board HLS from Gateway to a different landing site on the Moon for about 2 weeks. It will conduct more extensive exploration activities using rovers and other tools. Artemis 5. As of March 8, 2023, the launch date of Artemis 5 is scheduled for no earlier than September 2029. It will send 4 astronauts on board HLS from Gateway to another landing site on the Moon for about a month. It will establish an initial version of Artemis Base Camp with habitats, power systems, and communication systems. These missions are just some of the planned ones under Artemis program. NASA intends to continue sending humans to the Moon at least once per year after Artemis 5 until it achieves a sustainable presence on the lunar surface. What are the benefits of Artemis? As we mentioned earlier, Artemis is not only a scientific endeavor, but also a strategic, economic, and inspirational one. Some of the benefits of Artemis are: it will advance our understanding of the Moon, its origin, evolution, and resources. It will also help us learn more about Earth's history, climate, and geology by studying our nearest celestial neighbor. It will foster international cooperation and collaboration in space. Exploration, building on existing agreements such as the Artemis Accords, which outline principles for peaceful and responsible lunar activities. It will also create new opportunities for commercial involvement and innovation in the space sector. It will stimulate economic growth and development by creating new markets and industries related to lunar exploration. It will also generate spin-off technologies and applications that can benefit various sectors on Earth, such as healthcare, education, energy, and transportation. It will inspire future generations of explorers, scientists, engineers, and leaders by showcasing human ingenuity and courage in overcoming challenges and pursuing new frontiers. It will also promote STEM education and engagement among students and educators around the world. Conclusion: Artemis is an ambitious program that will take us back to the Moon and beyond. It will not only achieve historic feats, but also pave the way for future discoveries and opportunities in space exploration. Artemis is our chance to make history again. Thank you for watching this video on NASA's Artemis program. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel Space Renew for more videos on space topics. And don't forget to leave us a comment below with your thoughts on Artemis or any questions you may have. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time. Till then, stay curious